My name is Daniel Beer. I'm the admissions tutor in history. I'm also a senior lecturer in modern European history, and my area of expertise, interest is modern Russia. So what I think I'd like to stress is that, as is visible from the various clips from my colleagues who've been discussing their own work, we're very much a research-led department. So there's a very dynamic intellectual atmosphere in the department. We have people who are leading scholars in their own fields, who are working away at the coalface in various archives and libraries around the world, and then bring that expertise directly to bear on their own teaching. So I, for my presumably innumerable sins, spent most of last academic year working in Siberian archives and libraries on a new project about exile to Siberia before the revolution. And the material that I found there has fed directly into my teaching on my undergraduate courses. So I'm literally able to sort of, bring to bear examples that from documents that only I have found. I'm the first person to ever sign out these archival files. And indeed, I've circulated drafts of chapters and drafts of articles that are not even yet published. So I'm very keen to sort of bring my expertise to bear directly in my teaching. I don't see the two as being sort of separate occupations or separate sort of parts of my job. And questions from students, feed back into my own thinking about topics, how best to explain material, and so on. I teach, for example, a Group 2 course on Russia. It's called Russia in the Age of Reform and Revolution, so roughly from the Crimean War in 1855 through to the 1917 revolutions. And I think this is a particularly fascinating period, not just in Russian history, but in sort of European history. There are tremendous issues at stake. In a way, the very shape of the modern world is up for grabs. What sort of states can best meet the demands of their citizens? How can states negotiate these tremendously fraught and dangerous dynamics like industrialization, urbanization, the rise of mass politics, the demands of modern war? And I think in my course concentrating on the late imperial period, and particularly really on events in St. Petersburg, it shows us the way in which these ideas are played out. There are suicide epidemics which contemporaries struggle to understand. There's tremendous popular anxiety about the rise of crime in Russian cities. The revolutionary movement, of course, there are extensive debates about when is it legitimate to kill. Is political violence something that can be morally justified? So these are all topics really which I think have a tremendous contemporary resonance. It's very easy for me in my teaching to sort of throw questions out to students which, I think in a sense sort of gives them a new set of glasses really onto the world around us today. Issues of urban migration, immigration. How do you manage large multi-ethnic, multi-religious societies? And so this is, of course, a course which draws upon my own research. Particularly my research on Russian intellectual history, but also my ongoing project on crime and punishment in Russia in the 19th and 20th centuries. So I think it's a great course. There's lots of very exciting material. There's a huge body of primary sources. We discuss literature, we discuss films, paintings, and so on from the period. And I think it's a course which really speaks to contemporary concerns.